Hey everybody, Domestic Blend here, and right now I'm going to cover the Cipher. Going to go with an Orlin, I do believe, with this build. Once again, something I'm not too savvy on. I mean, I've messed with the Cipher a little bit, and it's similar to the Chanter and the Monk in its own right, but it generates its resource a little quicker. It's a little different. But it's a neat class, and I understand why it gets the popularity. Everyone wants a psionicist. I'm going with the same. Actually, I'm going with this one. Oh wait, let me show you why. Defiant Resolve after being subjected to a will attack. Wild on Cipher again. Bonuses to all will defenses, or all defenses, and I'll explain why I'm doing that momentarily, or maybe you'll get it. Stamina and health, they have the same speed at which wizards level in this regard, which is low. They are 30 stamina and 10 health per level. Whereas deflection is at 10, which is low. They're not great. They're actually better as ranged characters, so keep that in mind when you're making yours. If you don't like, they're 15 is average, and I'm sure it'll do all right. Just like the wizard is probably in the same boat. But they are more savvy at a range, so do what you will. Antipathetic field. Creates a. It does you focus on a target, and anyone between you and that target takes corrode damage. It's the short stick of it. Eye Strike shocks an enemy's visual receptors. It dazes and blinding them. It blinds them, as well as blinding nearby targets. This works really well off a rogue. If you have a rogue that is in the party, dazing and blinding will help augment that rogue's damage. So, whereas Mind Wave here does raw damage, the target becomes the object of a concussive blast of psychic energy, suffering raw damage. Characters in a conical area behind the target, failing a fortitude check, are knocked prone from the blast. So this is one of those abilities I think would be good for opening on a character that's in the front of a group of people. And you know, I mean, there's different applications for it, but that's probably the most reliable. Soul Shock, briefly transform the outer shell of the allied target's soul into energy, releasing an electrical burst after them. Characters standing in the area around the target take shock damage. Tenuous grasp assails the target's grasp of reality, frightening and confusing them. Whisper of Treason imparts the bedeviling secret. Imparts a bedeviling secret to an enemy that causes its allegiance to bend, charming them for the duration. I really don't know what I want to go with here. This will be less useful in the fight we're going to go into. I think I'm going to try this. Oh, I get two, so I'm going to pick this and... I know I typically pick damage spells, but I'm trying to pick the ones I think... Actually, the ones I'm trying to pick are the ones that I think are going to do have the prettiest layout. And I'm going to back up because I don't think I went all the way down here. They get +1 to stealth, +1 to lore, and +1 to mechanics. I'll show off all their abilities here in a moment. We're going to go with this and this. I want to show the ones that are the prettiest, though. That's the thing. Like, I'm not sure what all of the animations are. And I'm not saying they're not pretty, I go with the ones that are most likely if I haven't played the class that much. Soul Whip, this is what builds your focus, and it's +5 on hit. And you do it with a physical weapon. You can do it with a bow, you can do it with a melee sword or weapon, you can do it with whatever. But anytime you attack, you do 1.2 damage less than the rogue, that is sneak attacking, but it's consistent. It's not when they're under a status effect. It's at all times you're doing a little more damage. Which would be neat if you wanted to make a Battlecaster and heavy armor Cipher. Because you could wield a two-handed sword and do more damage than many classes. Psychic Backlash. This is why I picked this Orlin race. When you suffer a will... When stunning an enemy whenever they target the Cipher's will defense, and then it turns around and gives you bonus to your saves because of that. So they work in tandem, which is why I went there. Strange. I don't know why might was so high. We're gonna play a little... I don't know how we're gonna play this. I'm gonna go high dex though. I think the just want to say that I think I'm gonna go range with this guy if I can. I don't remember if I have the ability to pick a ranged weapon set during creation here. But I want to point out that of all the classes, I think, and this is, a lot of people might argue with me, the spirit of the Cipher, yeah, we can get a might. I want dexterity, but we'll have to go with might to get the bow. I really liked, especially Mask of the Betrayer, I really liked the Warlock. A lot of people didn't because of the way resting worked in the initial game, and I understand that because they were less useful because a mage could do more, because resting was so brain dead easy. But in this game, that's not the case. I feel like they are... Another thing that the Warlocks had, and if you followed the pen and paper rules for Warlocks in 3.5, was that they had Hideous Blow, which made it so you could be a melee caster. You could have Battlecaster and have better armor and a shield and a one-handed weapon and use your... walk in and swing your weapon, and it would put your invocation, whatever it was called, your blast onto your weapon. And they didn't implement that very well in Neverwinter Nights 2, and I'm not judging or anything like that, but the modders had to fix it, and I think this is more of a nod in that direction. This class is very similar to that, and instead of trying to balance it by saying, well, this class can continue casting where this one needs to rest, what they did was require you to build up points in order to cast, to spread that out. And even some of the names kind of harken back to some of those Warlocky names for some of the spells, and we'll go over them, hopefully. I'll remember to mention it. So here we go. It doesn't really matter. Well, yeah. We'll just pump something. It's closer to the next button. These are all the same abilities, so we just pick one we haven't picked. I'm gonna go with... We'll go with Mind Wave. Actually, we'll go with this one. Hopefully this one has a good AoE, or good animation. So here's your powers, level 2 powers. They're very, I mean, you go up in level just like the wizard or will, and you can, I think they intend to separate them, but these three right here are the same ones we've already gone over. But here is Amplified Thrust, bounces psychic energy harmlessly off the target onto the closest nearby enemy, causing pierce damage and violently pushing them backward. So you can fire this at a friendly to do damage near their closest target. Or you could bounce it off another enemy to do damage to the enemy next to them. It can be used in a lot of tactical ways. I think that's a neat spell. Mental Binding overwhelms the target's mental ability to communicate with its own body, paralyzing it and causing its soul to emit a shockwave that can leave nearby enemies stuck. A good CC, basically. Mind Blades co-ops the target's essence, generating slashing, blade, a slashing blade of force that attacks them before leaping up to up to 5 additional targets. Phantom foes. This is a way to assist. Like, let's say we went with the others, Orlin, which I think gets a bonus to crit hit chance or critical hit chance when flanking. This might be a way to force that if you wanted to go with the Orlin Cipher. Psycho-Vampiric Shield. Basically, you steal a portion of its resolve in order to increase your deflect. Basically, if this Recall Agony, what it does is if something does a big chunky amount of damage, you can toss this out onto the target and they will take that damage again, if you can do it quick enough. This one I think will require some Twitch skill to get working right, or you have to call your party off while it's being fired. It will require some thought behind it, I do believe, but I could be dead wrong. I could be really wrong. But we are going to try... Let's try this. It's a stun. AoE, paralyze, and stun. So, hopefully it does well. And then we get to pick another one. We'll try Phantom Foes. It'll help the rogue do damage. Now, if you notice down here, we have 30 focus already. And I'm not sure how it works, but I think... see, we're at power 3 and we still have these level 2 and 3, but these bottom 6 are the new ones, so that's what we're going to go over. Ecto-Psychic Echo. This is one of those that it does damage between your target, whatever's between your target and you. So, like, these spells are make it useful to get on the opposing side of whoever's tanking in your group and pegging them. That way you can do damage, not necessarily to them, but you could hit your friendly and do damage to whoever's in between the two of you. But it does crush damage. Fractured Volition. Violates an enemy's memories to bring vivid recollections of the past. Failures to surface, leaving the target hobbled and weakened. Pain Link. Basically, they take damage if you take damage. That's a pretty cool ability. Puppet Master. It's a dominate spell. Who doesn't like dominate spells? Secret Horrors. It causes enemies in the area of effect to believe their worst fears have been realized. It's frightening and sickening them. And Soul Ignition. Sorry, it's late. Igniting the air around them and burning them over time. We're gonna go with that one because basically sets them on fire, and it's actually really pretty effective.
Very well.
Although we've seen a lot of fire effects in my videos, this one's not exactly the same. We're gonna pop that modal, get his offensive modal up. Now,
yes.
See, I already start with 35 here, so I can go ahead and start bombing, and that's one thing that makes the Cipher stand out more so than differently from the monk and the chanter, who have to build their resource before they can even do anything in combat with their big spells. We're going to try this first, and I'm going to use it on Dwarf. Wait, hold on, before I do that. It attacks will. Let's hope this guy's will saves are awful. But we're going to hit it. Maybe. Huh. I don't know what. How many? I should be able to cast this. Maybe it only works in combat. So we'll go ahead and do this the normal way and initiate combat. Start with the rogue on that guy, and we'll get a fireball out. Fireball? Oh, that's not a fireball. I'm special, guys. Don't pick on me.
Yes?
Okay, let's try this again. Ah, there we go. See, he's paralyzed. Thank goodness that priest is the bane of my existence. I still have enough here to cast another spell. We're going to do Soul Ignition on the priest, because forget that priest. The Cipher's a really strong class, and it's actually one of the easier ones I've experienced playing. Doing this, I'm gonna try. We're gonna do Soul Shock. Soul Shock requires 10 focus. Why can't I? Oh, it has to be a friendly. I'm special. See if I can get up enough to get a couple more off here. Knock down.
Yes?
I've got 15. We're going to do this tenuous grasp. Soul Ignition we've done everything, but this one, which I'll try, I'm gonna move in to do it right. It has to be an enemy target, it can't be a friendly, so we can't show that one, but we will show this one. I debuffed us too, but yeah.
Yes?
Maybe I'll get Soul Ignition. Because this class builds every time it hits, I think Dex is necessary. Oh, the guy's down. I didn't even get time to cast him in. But there you have it. And if you notice, the moment we got out of combat, we got 35 soul
Very well.
back, or focus back. So you still have, that's the one thing I like about the Cipher, is you can just step in like a mage, but you play more like a sorcerer or a warlock, in my opinion, and you mix in, melee attacks or ranged attacks with it to augment that. And I mean, you can, like, this is one of those classes. He has a good many AoEs. He has good many like Soul Ignition is a 12-second duration. You could have intellect on this guy and increase that duration like a lot, while simultaneously something like this would have a bigger AoE and mental binding. Or even like this that does the Soul Shock that does shock damage would have a bigger AoE. Like, this class would benefit from intelligence, it would benefit from might, it would benefit from dex. If you're going to go in, you know, with a melee build, you're going to want to have constitution, of course. And if you're going to do that, you're also going to need resolve. And you know, at the same time, if you're playing more laid back like this guy, bows are quick, and they're going to build your focus really quickly. So you could even go with like perception
Very
and
well.
the
Very well.
anti-caster caster, if you will, and interrupt.
Yes?
So that's the Cipher, guys. An awesome little class. Definitely going to be one
Going.
of my second or third playthrough, maybe fourth,
Going.
if things go. I mean, I'm a huge like it'll be probably
Yes?
Chanter, and then this or the Druid or the Paladin. Those are the three I'm looking at. Depending on how I want to switch up, I'll probably go with a melee class like the Paladin first, and then move to this guy next. Because I like it, but I do like the Druid. The Druid's fun too. So there it is, guys. If you have any questions or you know, need I'm gonna try. I think my next attempt, my next two attempts at getting a class to 6, level 6 before the game bugs out, will be a Cipher and a Wizard, I think. Which the Wizard is one of the videos I missed. I doubt I'll do it for that video because just the likelihood of it bugging. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up here on YouTube, or more likely, more easy to get a hold of me would be on the Obsidian's forums, where I'm going to post these. So, my handle's Gainrich there, so hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.